Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Welcome to the White Lotus in Thailand, Kat.
It's a wellness centre.
You should get a facial. The lady in the airport thought you were my dad.
Oh my God.
The Emmy Award-winning HBO original series returns.
There has been more crime on the island. I'm a little freaked out.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means we're not dead yet.
Amen.
Amen.
A new season of the HBO original series The White Lotus premieres February 16th at 9 p.m. on Max.
And I've been your best employee, and you literally... So... But that's what happened with that job. That's sad. And I was literally getting paid $25 an hour. Okay... I have my face all in the camera. That was funny. I'm like, okay, and perfect. YouTube, perfect. Everything perfect. Okay. You guys, it's the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started.
For the Couch Chronicles, where there ain't no fucking limits.
Todos los lunes, martes, jueves y viernes a partir de las 8 horas central, no te querrás perder el sofá. Puedes encontrar Couch Chronicles sin límites en Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcast. El sofá escrito Tha Sofá en la base de fans de Facebook, TikTok, Vivo e Instagram Sofá Crónicas sin límites. También puedes ver en vivo en YouTube la verdadera Hannah deletreada Tha Real Hannah. Asegúrate de suscribirte al canal de YouTube y también visita el sitio web thacouch.com y tharealhannah.com. Bienvenidos al sofá, mis nuevos adictos a la televisión. Gracias por elegir el sofá.
Y'all, it's the Couch Chronicles, and I got Sofia on the couch.
Hi.
Now, can you pronounce your last name?
It's Isiordia.
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 There you go.
It's funny because I'm the only one in my family that doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh, really? Everyone speaks Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh,
My last name before I got married was Reyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's funny because I'll go around them and they'll be speaking Spanish and they'll be like looking at me, did you finally learn? And I'm like,
No. It happens.
Right. I understand poquito, but I can't speak it.
You can't speak it, yeah.
No. So, Sofia, can you tell everybody where you are from?
I'm originally from Mexico.
Mhm.
From, it's called, the state is Jalisco, and the city is Guadalajara.
Jalisco?
Yeah, Jalisco.
And
Guadalajara.
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 Uh-huh. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Teach me something.
Yeah, that's where I'm originally from.
Now, we met at the protest.
Yes.
What changes have you seen in your community since Trump has become president?
I've seen a lot of people fear.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly fear. That's the biggest concern is fear. But like I tell everyone, immigration laws are changing on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say just stay put on the news. Don't listen to social media. Don't go onto social media without having proof.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tell everyone just take it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're doing everything the right way, where you're, for example, like people going to work, as long as you're driving at your limit and you're not drinking and driving, then you shouldn't fear of anything. And because that was me, that was me fearing for my parents. But now that's the main thing is fear. But like I tell everyone, just listen to the news. Just don't
And it's
focus.
a lot of fake news out there.
It is. There's a lot of fake news, a lot of on social media, a lot of people posting, oh, ICE is here, ICE is there. I said, no, it's the police. They're serving warrants. That's been going on for years, but you know, you're hearing more about it now than you did back in the day.
Right.
And thanks to social media, because back in the day, social media wasn't a thing.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
But I mean, other than that, I think I've been listening to a lot of different news. Like, you know, I'm in DACA, and that's the main reason why I'm here to talk about DACA.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's like I said, every day immigration laws are changing. So I just tell everyone to just don't fear.
Right.
You know, they're not bad people. They're only going after the bad people. They're not going after the hardworking people.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, how do you decipher, you know, the real news from the fake news?
Honestly, I just, like I said, social media. I always ask for proof. You know, I'm the type of person that if you post something, I need you to post proof of it.
Right.
If not, just correct your post. Don't put more fear into people. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I just try not to focus a lot on it, especially on the negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what type of treatment have you been receiving from the world in general?
A lot of people don't realize that, you know, I'm on DACA. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't realize that I'm originally from Mexico. Mm-hmm. They think that, you know, I was born and raised here, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I originally come from Mexico. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, when I tell them how long I've been here, they're like, oh, wow, you've been here for so long and you haven't been able to, you know, fix the status here? I'm like, nope. So once people know that I'm not from here, it changes their aspect on the way they think. Mm. But I don't like to tell, you know, a lot of people, oh, hey, you know, I'm from over there or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I just, you know, if I get asked, or if the subject comes up, then I'll let them know. If not, then I just kind of just...
Right. It's kind of like a don't ask,
tell. There you go.
Right. It's not that you're embarrassed, just
no, of course not.
Just like, you know, and this is totally different, but it's kind of the same. Mm-hmm. Just like back in the day, no one was really like, hey, I'm gay, or gay pride. Or
exactly.
No one was really doing that.
No.
It was just, you know, we was what we was.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it seems like everybody has to announce.
Yeah, you basically have to announce who you are, where you're from.
Right.
Because you don't know what that person is how they're gonna react if you start touching the subject. So you kind of have to give them like a small heads up.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's been a lot of controversy. You know, have you been seeing any unity from different races, or?
I mean, just like I said, when we met at the protest, it's the comments. Mm-hmm. You know, there's, especially on the local news, you know, they're always doing headlines on immigration, on this, on that. So you know, I've seen people that support, you know, people being here, working hard, but then there's also the negativity. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I used to be the type of person that would sit there and
comment back.
Yes, comment back. Comment back on everything, you know, trying to defend on what they were saying, like trying to educate them, but it's nearly impossible. Yeah. So, you know, I just kind of just try to stay out of it anymore. Right. Because, you know, only the ones that are living what they're living are the only ones that understand. Mm-hmm. So, you know, sometimes just trying to talk about it and let people, you know, educate people on what we're going through, you know, will maybe change their minds.
Right.
But, and, you know, a lot of people don't know, like I said, the DACA program. They don't know what it's about. They don't know who it benefits. They don't know what benefits we have from it. So that's why I feel that now with, you know, social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, podcast, I think there should be more people that talk about it. I mean, you know, we shouldn't be scared to talk about it. You know, we need to be heard. Yeah. We need to, you know, people need to realize that we're not a threat.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the number one reasons why I wanted to bring you on today, Sofia. Now, how would you feel if your family, you know, voted for Trump?
Everyone has different political thoughts. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I do have family that voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. And that still doesn't change the fact that I'm going to stop loving them. Right. That I'm going to, you know, not talk to them. Mm-hmm. As long as they don't bring it up in a negative...
disrespectful way.
Yes, in a disrespectful way or in a negative way, then, you know, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's why I don't get into a lot of political unless I have to. You know, we all have different thoughts about it. But yeah, I mean, I do have family, friends that voted for Trump, and, you know, I'm not going to use that against them.
Right.
And
now, has anyone ever stopped, you know, being your friend or?
Not that I can think of. Not that I can think of. I mean, I've received a couple negative comments from it, but once I start to kind of talk to them about why it bothers me, then they understand.
Right.
You know, because I could say the same thing about if I had voted for, you know, somebody else. You know, they have negative thoughts about them as I have negative thoughts about who they voted for. So, you know, it's, as long as it doesn't affect me in a certain way, then, you know,
right,
it's fine.
Exactly. Now, do you have any family of different ethnicities?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I don't know if my sister-in-law is watching me, but but yes, I do. My brother, and she's, you know, she's white, and they do have a baby together. So, like I said, I don't get into any of that. You know, I'm very open-minded. You know, I don't care what color, race, ethnicity you are, as long as you respect me and respect my family. Yeah, that's all that matters. Right. That's all
doesn't matter
matters.
if you black, purple, pink.
Yeah, right. That's all that matters. Respect is the biggest thing for me.
Right. Now, what all are you doing to help bring awareness?
Other than going to, you know, to support in the protests, I really haven't done much. You know, I've been sharing posts here and there on TikTok, you know, like sharing what I see on TikTok, and, you know, doing this podcast with you today, which, you know, I'm excited about. But, I mean, I really haven't got into it like I really wanted to, because I haven't had the opportunity. But, I mean, like I said, just talking about it.
This is the step right here.
Yeah, you know, just taking this step and talking about it. It may not get far, but as long as, you know, you start somewhere. Yeah. And that's where we need to be heard, starting from somewhere.
Exactly. So for those that are watching, no matter wherever you're watching from, wherever you're tuning in from, you know, you can be the voice. I always tell you guys, I'm not going to say I always preach, but I always try to encourage you guys to be the voice for the voiceless, because there's so many of us who want to stand up or who want to talk, but they don't have that stage presence like you do.
I mean, and I used to be so scared to talk in public, but you start realizing that if you're scared, you're never going to be heard. Right. So you have to take that big girl step. Yeah. And say, you know what? If I want to change, I need to talk. I need to be heard. And, you know, for anybody that's watching this and you're afraid to step up, I mean, I highly recommend you to do it. Take that big step, because that could be a life-changing experience for you.
And you can be taking that big step, and somebody might be watching you like, you know what? That was the confirmation that I need to take my big step. You can be the encouragement for somebody else taking a big step. And you can be the start to the movement. They starting to move because they seen you move, and they was like, you know what? Out of all people, I would have never imagined that Sofia would be doing this. And now that they see that you're doing it, they like, you know what? I'm next. What's up? Let me say what I need to say.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. Make a stand and start somewhere. And all of us can do this. We can, unity, love, spreading love. I'm telling you, that'll help the world so much, because there's so much hate out here.
There is.
Oh my goodness. Now, have you ever been to a protest that got violent?
No.
Okay.
Not good. I mean, the Sunday or Saturday before the big protest at the Scissor Bridge, me and my friend, we went to one at the state capitol, and, you know, there's the people that are against it, but, you know, it was a protest of everything. You know, some were there for one thing, others were there for other things. So, but I mean, like I said, there's just a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negativity, but I mean, I think that's everywhere. And
it's a lot of emotions running out.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing. Emotions, like, you know, you don't realize how much hate there is out there until you actually take that big step, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go here, and, you know, I want my voice to be heard. And I think that's where a lot of people fear, because of the hate and the negativity you get
and the
from
backlash.
Yes,
it's like you don't know who's gonna say what, and it's like, they can bring up whatever. They can even make up something, and then the world is gonna believe it because they're not gonna have anything to prove it from.
Exactly.
You know, they're just gonna be like, well, maybe they do know them because they live in the same state, or, you know. So you just have to, you know, just really just think like, can I handle that?
Yeah. You have to be very strong-blooded because, I mean, the anger will get to you right away. It will get to you right away.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what they want. And, you know, that's another thing I want to say that that I was thinking when we go protest on our signs that we make, we need to show some positivity.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we shouldn't have to act like they act against us. That's my biggest thing. You know, let's just show a lot of positivity. Like, you know, it's all fun and games when you start saying things. It's fun and games, but then you sit there and you realize that you're acting exactly how they're acting towards you.
Exactly.
And, you know, we don't want them to think that we're like them, because, you know, they have certain privileges that we don't. So we need to show them that, you know, we're positive, that just because they're calling us racial slurs doesn't mean that's going to affect us. We need to be positive on our signs, you know, and that's another thing, because there's going to be a lot of protests. There's going to be a lot of people going out there, you know, even people doing podcasts. Like, don't say anything negative against, you know, political parties, because that just doesn't look good on us. So I think that's my biggest message right now, is that if people are going out to protest, let's be positive. Let's show that we're not like the people that are sitting there and accusing us and calling us names or whatever. You know, let's show them that we're better than them. Yeah. And that's, you know, and I really wish I would have been able to tell a lot of people this when we went to before we went to protest, because I think it would have made a big difference.
Yeah. You know, because sometimes, even though we know that the police mess with whoever, sometimes they get provoked.
Yes.
Some people get mad. And if you see a sign that says, F the police, or the police ain't S, or whatever, when you see stuff like that, as them, I mean, I'm just putting myself in their shoes. It'll make you angry, just like if you seen a racial slur towards you, or if I seen a racial slur towards me on a sign and it's flashing in my face. Oh, wow, thank you so much. And it's flashing in my face disrespectfully. I mean, I might flash out.
Yeah. And you know, like I said, I've seen a lot, not just here in Oklahoma, you know, just all around, you know, the country where they did all the protests, you know. Yeah. I would see all these signs like, you know, F ICE, F the president. Like, you know, we're trying to give out a positive message. We're trying to defend ourselves. Right. And just by putting the opposite, it's not looking good on us.
Right. So is it a peaceful protest with disrespectful signs?
Yes. Yes, it is. And that's what I saw a lot, you know. And like I said, it's, you know, it's all fun in games until you sit there and you realize, like, oh wow, like, that wasn't good. Yeah. Because, you know, we're trying to send out a positive message on why we need to be here, why we want to be here, like, you know. And just sitting there, and even on the social media, just all the negative comments, you know, responding back to people, oh, go back to Germany, go back to England. You're doing the same thing that they're doing to us. Yeah. So, you know, instead of telling them that, we need to sit there and kind of educate them. Like, you know, I'm not a threat to you. You know, my parents are not a threat to you. This is what they've been doing. You know, give them a little bit of back history. They might not care, but at the same time, you know, it'll show more positive than negative. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's real. Anybody that's watching, take heed. You know, when it comes to protesting, you know, we say it's peaceful, but if you are saying negative things on a sign, how is it really that peaceful? Some might take it in a different way, and then they get that they feel like they get that right to speak how they speak to you.
Exactly.
Because they like, look what you got on your sign.
Mm-hmm.
You doing the same fucking shit I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I need to respect you if you're not respecting me?
Exactly.
And it's fucked up, but it's real. It's like if you want to fight that fight, you have to fight it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not being fought right, people will overlook you. They'll disrespect you. You'll literally feel like you're fighting extra hard when you don't have to. When if you come with kindness and goodness, it wouldn't be as hard. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening for y'all. I'm just saying, like, even with the Black Lives Matter, people was tearing down buildings and tearing up, like, shops. Like, what does that got to do with what you guys are trying to prove?
Exactly.
That doesn't have, like, destructing property is like, what? What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. You're just giving out the wrong message.
Yeah. And it's like, if we want to send the right message, we got to stick to the message.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how tough it gets, the fight is going to get tough. It is going to get tough. People are going to be even more disrespectful. It's going to get worse.
It is.
You have to literally have your armor on. Your armor has to be on at all times in order for you to be able to get hit and then it just bounce right off.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that armor on. So whenever anybody says anything disrespectful, you literally like, have a beautiful day.
Exactly.
I love you.
Yeah.
Wow, I love you. I'm so glad to be here.
Right.
Go back? Why? I love it here. I mean, hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
If you're just now tuning in, it's the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits. Follow Sofia on all social media. Her information is in the description. No matter wherever you're watching, make sure that you hit the like button, share the live, and tell somebody about the couch. Today is informative. Share the live. This is important. This is stuff that's happening right now in your community, in our community, all over. Mm-hmm. All over. Everyone is dealing with this right now, whether you want to believe it or not. I'm just saying. Now, what do you do for a living?
So I currently work at a garage door company.
Okay.
It's called Apex Garage Doors and Carports.
Okay.
It's local here in Oklahoma City. I've been there for 5 months now.
Okay.
5 months. Prior to that, I was working as a property manager. I did that for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And then prior to that, I was being a loan officer. I did loans, and I did that for 6 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been busy staying worked up.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't missing a beat.
Yeah, definitely.
Seriously, because they thinking that, like, I now see comments like, y'all not doing that. Like, what do you mean they not doing nothing?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And, that's what a lot of DACA recipients are doing. A lot of them are, they have their families. A lot of them are homeowners. Mm-hmm. They have higher education levels. A lot of them have business owners. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and they're doing everything the right way.
Yes.
And that's where it gets me when people start saying, do it the legal way. Like, we've been doing it the legal way. It's
right.
just, they've just been putting a lot of bumps down the road for us to try to, get further.
Right. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Now, the company that you work for, is it owned by your community?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Both of my bosses are Hispanics. Mm-hmm. So, and then I have one Hispanic employee, and then the other two, they're non-Hispanics. Mm-hmm. But I do work in an office of all Hispanic girls. Mm-hmm. One of our owner, he has his own construction company, mm-hmm. and then the other one, he owns a gutter company, and then he has a lot of smaller companies, and they're all Hispanic. So
wow,
yeah.
That's dope.
Yes, ma'am.
That's definitely dope. Now, your parents have been here 30 plus years.
Yes.
What was your life like growing up?
I had a really good childhood. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no complaints. Unfortunately, my dad passed away in November of 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, he was here in Oklahoma. He passed away. But, yeah, I was brought to the United States when I was just 2 years old. Mm-hmm. And I mean, growing up, you know, I had my grandparents on my mom's side of the family here, my uncles on my mom's side of the family here. I never really got to see any of my dad's family. I mean, they're all back home, back in Mexico. But growing up was a challenge. You know, going to school was a challenge. Starting kindergarten, you know, in a whole new country where you don't know anybody was the biggest challenge of my life. You know, and I still remember going into that kindergarten class and looking at everyone. And, you know, my teacher, asking me, you know, questions. I had no idea what she was saying. There wasn't a lot of Hispanics back in the day. There wasn't a lot of Hispanics then. So, you know, we had I guess we would call it a special ed teacher that would take out, you know, the few Hispanics. If I remember correctly, there was like maybe 3 or 4 of us in the classroom, and they would take us out to a different classroom where they would teach us English. So, you know, when you're at that young, English seems to, you know, you seem to process it a lot better than when you're older. So I remember being in kindergarten, being with Miss Bridget. I still remember that my special ed teacher. And I remember my sister, when we finished the school year in kindergarten, I automatically got put in first grade. My sister still stayed back in T1 because she still had trouble speaking English. And then, I mean, from first grade all the way to graduation, it was, you know, it was still challenging because you still didn't really know much English. But once, you know, I think once I got to like 3rd or 4th grade, I had it very fluent. And I just didn't ring it, but I do have a picture that I was even a star student in 2nd grade.
Wow.
Yep, I was a star student in 2nd grade. I have a little star. And, you know, those are things that now that I'm older, it's like, wow. Like, you know, it makes me emotional because you're like, as coming into a whole country and then learning English and now being able to talk about your experience, it just makes me, you know, emotional, especially seeing, you know, when people start giving negative comments. Because they don't know what the struggle is. They, you know, they don't know what you struggle growing up in a whole country when, you know, Spanish being your primary language and then having to learn English.
And then, like, you're not learning it from your parents. You have to learn it from a total stranger.
Exactly. And that's where, you know, my parents play a big role, because you're growing up, you know, me being the oldest out of 4, you're having to speak up for them. You're having to speak up for them. You're having to translate for them because you're the oldest. You have to set the example for the younger ones. So that's, you know, a lot of people, especially my age in the Hispanic community, being the oldest child, will understand what I'm talking about. Because you have to, you know, you have to put your parents before you put yourself, you know, because they depend on you, basically, you know, they depend on you, and that's where you're like, oh, wow, like, you know, at a young age, I mean, there's just a lot of stories when I remember going into the clinics to translate, and I was middle school. I was in middle school. There's a newspaper ad that I want to look for, that I was in middle school, and I sat there in front of a medical office with my grandma and some other older ladies that were there to get some medical help, and I sat there and translate for everyone. And the newspaper guy came and he said, "Can I take a picture?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, I came up in the news front page where I was translating for the Hispanic community at that clinic.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stories where here, you know, like family, friends that I go and translate for them. So being bilingual, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's the biggest blessing. Yes.
It definitely is. And you literally speak so good English. This is another reason why people would never believe that you are from Mexico, because you literally speak so well.
Yeah. And I've been told that. You're like, well, you don't have that accent. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to sound like? I mean, that's learning it at a young age.
Right, and also learning it from someone that was already English. You probably learned it from a white person, or?
No, she actually spoke Spanish. My special ed teacher spoke Spanish. My kindergarten teacher didn't speak any Spanish. So, yeah, she was fluent in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yes.
That probably helped you learn quicker.
Yeah, it did. It did. Because, I mean, I don't remember much of it, but I know first grade, second grade, I mean, I had it. I mean, I was fluent by then. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just growing up, you just have to stick to it. You can't, you know, especially, like I said, being the oldest and helping your parents through it, so.
Wow, that's got to be stressful. I know for a fact that my boss, Linda, shout out to Linda. Hey, Linda. You know, she grew up in a Hispanic community, and being the oldest, when I say she took care of it, her mom was still staying with her.
Wow.
And she was older than me. I call her my second mom. Like, her mother is still living with her, and her mother is in her 90s. And all her kids and their kids, like, she's like, you know, at that age, you know, you have to take care of your family.
Yep.
She showed me what family is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I said, hold on, why the hell my family ain't like this? I said, nah, fuck that. If they ain't treating me like this, they not my family. Mm-hmm. So I made my family. Linda is my mother. Okay?
That's good.
Now, with the hold on DACA applications, how is that affecting the community, even yourself?
So DACA started, there was a lot of talk about it in June of, I believe it was 2012. Mm-hmm. That's when President Barack Obama announced it. So in August of 2012 was when he started, when Homeland Security started taking applications. Mm-hmm. So from 2012 all through 2017, they were taking applications. Mm-hmm. In my case, it's a little different because I had sent the renewal, and I had used a attorney to do it the first time, you know, because it was like everything was new, you know.
Right.
It's like a big change, like, oh my God, like they're actually doing something for the young adults. So, you know, you had to provide a lot of information. I mean, I had to get all of my school transcripts, like from kindergarten all the way till I graduated. I had to get medical records. I mean, you have to provide proof that you've been here for so long. And the more proof that you have, the better. So I remember taking a file to my attorney that was probably about this thick. Of just everything, you know.
Oh, yeah, newspaper clips and everything.
Everything. I mean, I even took them my first communion certificate. I even took them that. I mean, I had appendix surgery. I took all of my medical records. But my attorney said just with your school transcripts is enough. I'm like, oh, okay. But the first time I did use an attorney, and then, you know, I think it was like about $3,000 what I had to pay. And
so they charge you to do that?
Oh yeah, it's not free. So for people that, you know, that say, oh, you guys are here expecting free handouts, nothing is free. It was the attorney fees, the application fees, the immigration fees, the biometric fees, and then your background fees.
Okay, so how much is all of that?
Like I said, back when I started the process in 2012, it was a total of $3,000. And I was blessed because my spouse and my dad, they both helped me. I know my dad, you know, he, as soon as he heard the news, he picked up the phone and called me. He said, you need to get on this now, right away. Yeah. I said, Dad, I don't have the money. He said, how much do you need? I'm like, well, I don't know. How much can you help me with? He said, okay, I'll give you $2,000. He didn't think about it. He brought it to me, and then my spouse gave me the other half, and I filed everything in, and I took my attorney. I can't remember. I think it took maybe about 3 months, maybe 2 months, 2 to 3 months it took, and then I got the approval letter in the mail. I used to live in an apartment complex, so I went.
Pause. What was that feeling like? I've
never felt so much excitement in my life. I cried. I cried. As soon as I got the letter, and it was from USCIS, I opened it, and it says, the first letter I received was that they had received my case, and it was under review. I said, okay, well, it's a good thing, that's good news that they received it.
Right.
And then I think it was maybe 10 days after that, I received, your case has been approved, or oh my God, I started crying. I called my dad, I called my mom, my grandma, and I'm like, I'm approved for DACA. It was such an amazing feeling. So, I get, once again, I get emotional when people say, do it the right way. You guys don't know the emotions. You guys don't know how it affects you mentally, having to read all that negativity. And after that, I got my work permit card. As soon as I got my work permit card, I called one of my friends. Her name is Pati. Hopefully she's seeing the the live. I called her, and we went and we applied for our state ID. And when I got my state ID, I could not believe it. I'm like, oh my God, finally, after so many years, finally. And then I went and got my social security card. I got my social. So, just having to go through that process was mentally draining, but it was all worth it.
Yes.
So then, then it comes the time to renew it. I send in my paperwork, and I didn't use an attorney, which was my biggest mistake. I didn't use an attorney.
For the second time?
For the second time.
Okay.
I did not use an attorney. I did the paperwork, and I sent the application, but they denied it because some of the dates weren't matching from the first application. So then I sent it again, and they sent it back because it was missing some signatures, and then I kind of just didn't go through it. I had some, my grandma passed away, so that really, hit hard. So I didn't really think much about it, and then when I finally got to it again, it was the deadline had passed. So then when I did send it again, they told us that we had to do it as a new applicant, and when it expired, it was in 2016, I believe. No, 2014. 2014, and I was going back and forth for almost a year and a half. And then when I tried to apply for a new one, or as a new applicant, that's when Donald Trump's administration put a stop to all new applicants. So my case and many other cases have been on hold since 2017. So that's where
since 2017, though, not just because this is happening. No, it's been on hold. You've been trying to get it renewed.
I've been trying to get it renewed. My attorney just tells me, as soon as I open the applications back, you're the first one that's going to go through with all the other ones that are pending. I mean, even people now, they're sending their renewals 4 or 5 months way before it expires, and they're still they're not processing it quick enough. And like I said, now with social media being more active, I read about it a lot where people have sent the renewals 5 months before, 6 months before, and
it's still not approved.
Some of them are losing their jobs because their jobs can't keep them with an expired work permit. So, it's like they're doing it the right way. They're doing it how they're supposed to, but it's
not moving fast enough.
They're not moving fast enough, or they're just putting a lot of hold on things. So that's where it gets to me too.
Yeah. Now, if they was to permanently terminate DACA, how would that affect you?
It would affect me as far as maybe not being able to work. And they've tried to terminate it. 2017, 2018, when the Biden administration was in office, like I said, I don't get into a lot of political, but there was a lot of promises that weren't completed where, he said, we're trying to figure out a way, but nothing was ever done. And what gets me is that even though my work permit has been expired since 2017, I've been doing my taxes.
So they want your fucking money.
I've still been doing my taxes. I do my taxes every year.
That's some fucking bullshit.
Every year.
And it lets you know that it's a money thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And the reason I do it, it's because, you know, I'm trying to do things the right way. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to do things the correct way. So I know taxes here in the United States, it's a biggest flex. Mm-hmm. So that's why, you know, sometimes I may, I don't know, depends what kind of, how much I made. But usually, you know, being in middle class, basically what we're considered, you know, making about 39 to 40 a year, and then maybe only seeing 500 back. Maybe sometimes not even seeing anything back. So when I do my taxes, sometimes I don't see anything back, and sometimes, you know, it evens out where I don't pay and I don't get nothing back. So, but yeah, I can't get them to get my work permit renewed.
That is some fucking bullshit. And again, like she said, there's so many people that's going through this right now that's been trying to get it renewed since 2017 or even before then.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, and that's what I'm saying. And, you know, I'm not just talking about DACA. Yeah. You know, people may not know what a ITN number is. An ITN is a tax identification number that people that don't have a valid social security number use to do taxes. Most of these people are immigrants. And, you know, that's what my parents used, was an ITN number to do their taxes. Since, you know, we were younger, we didn't have a social, so they would identify us with an ITN number in order to report us and for them to be able to do their taxes. So, you know, there's a lot of people that work in construction, roofing, you know, farms, agricultural workers that use an ITN number. Mm-hmm. And they use it because they're doing things right. Mm-hmm. They want to be, they want to contribute to this country. Mm-hmm. And when I read the comments of people saying, oh, well, that they're feeding off taxpayers' money, they pay taxes. Mm-hmm. And people like myself that don't have any dependents, we don't see any money back. Yeah. So, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, I should get me a job that pays me more. Yeah, but then at the end of the year, you're like, well, what the heck? I have to pay more money back. So that's, you know, it's, and I mean, I get upset sometimes, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, well, this should be able to help me in the future, that I did my taxes. And that's why, you know, sometimes I'm like, they're telling us that we don't contribute. Maybe I won't do my taxes this year, but then I'm like, nope, I got to do it. Because, you know, we want to contribute. We want to help this country. Yeah. And I think that's our biggest contribution is by doing our taxes.
Right. Exactly. So, man, mm-hmm. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. You're literally informing me, like, I had no idea that the struggle was so hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's similar to my struggle.
Mm-hmm. It's hard, especially, and then, you know, just having to drive carefully. Because, you know, if your work permit is expired, guess what? Everything else is expired. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just having to drive carefully and, you know, just praying to God that you don't get pulled over because, you know, you can't.
Oh, I know that feeling.
you can't afford a ticket, and, you know, it's a fear. But, you know, we gotta work. We can't just sit at home and not do anything.
Right, because who's gonna pay the bills?
Exactly.
Who's gonna feed the family?
Exactly.
I mean, because your next door neighbor ain't finna just be like, hey, I see that you don't work anymore. You want me to pay your bills? Mm-mm. Your neighbor's not going to do that.
Nope.
Now, there are some friends that might.
Oh, yeah.
But, no on a neighbor. If you guys are just now tuning in, it's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. I got Sofia on the couch. Make sure that you follow her on all social media. Her information will be in the description. I have a few more questions if you still got time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I got a few more questions. You guys follow Couch Chronicles No Limits on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Couch Chronicles No Limits on Instagram, Tha Couch on Facebook, Big O tagged, like, and TikTok. Yep, and TikTok. Tha Couch on Facebook, TikTok, and Big O. I already said that. Tha Real Janell on all social media, including the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. You guys, I am transitioning off of Instagram, Big O, and Facebook and TikTok. So make sure that you follow and download all the other apps. If you guys are looking to make a big buck for your money when you go live, I would download Tagged. I would download Tagged. Now, like I said, I got a few more questions and then I'll wrap it up. Now, how has your community been affected by DACA?
The DACA community, like I said, there's a lot of news going on. I believe a couple days ago they were saying that a state senator from Texas wanted to present a bill for the second time that may give a pathway to citizenship to DACA recipients, which, that would be huge for us. Yeah. That would be a big accomplishment. And, it's like I said, people are just living in fear. I'm in a DACA group in Facebook, and that's all I read about. Like what's going on with DACA, what's going to happen with DACA, with this new administration, what do they plan on doing? And just a little bit of more information on DACA. Yeah. You have to pass a background check. So you can't have any crimes, any felonies, or you won't get approved for DACA. So, it's not like, they're just going to give DACA to anybody.
So if you guys are really believing in that there's criminals, that every one of them is criminals, come on now.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have to pass a background check with DACA. When I first applied, you had to be here for a certain time, like from a certain date to a certain date, or you wouldn't qualify for DACA. So they weren't just giving DACA to anybody. You had to meet certain requirements, like you had to have some kind of high school degree or a GED. You couldn't have left the country and then re-entered the country. So you had
within a certain amount of time, or
yes, exactly. You had to. I believe they had said it had to be July of 15th of 2012 through then. So you couldn't have left the country. You had to show enough proof of you being here continuously in the United States. You couldn't have any bad background. So, that's where people don't understand what DACA is. So that's what it is. And another thing, DACA is not only for Hispanics. DACA is for any immigrant, yeah, any immigrant, any country you come from. As long as you met the right requirements, you applied for DACA. You were automatically approved. And that's what a lot of people think. There's only immigrants from Mexico, from Guatemala, from just the Latin America. They don't realize that there's immigrants from all around the world. Oh yeah. And that's where they just want to focus on Mexico, I guess. I don't know. But they don't realize that immigrants come from all over the world. They all,
They could be from Germany. They could be from.
Oh yeah, from Russia. Just all around the world. Yeah. So that's where people don't realize it when they're just accusing a certain race. Like no, immigrants are all over the world. Right. So
yeah, that's definitely for sure. Did you ever get scared to go out and protest?
I did. I know. I know. Back last year, they were trying to pass that law, that HB. I can't remember which one it was, but I know they were trying to pass that law where if you got arrested, you got deported, and but. Like I said, if you don't speak up, they're not gonna hear you out. Right. And I went out there and we protested. A lot of friends that were on DACA. My partner, his friends, they went out there. They missed a day of work and went out to protest. Yeah. And that law didn't pass, thankfully. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like we need to start speaking up. We need to be heard. Like there's no as long as you protest peacefully, you shouldn't have to fear. Right. And that's where I was reading on why DACA was passed, because there were a lot of students. DACA was for students. There was a lot of students protesting. they were heard. Barack Obama heard us. He saw our concerns, and like every political party, they have their cons and their pros, and he heard us, and he passed DACA. And now that's where we're sitting at right now. We need to be heard, and that's why I said earlier, we need to be positive when we're protesting. We need to write positive messages. We need to see, we need to explain to them in our signs. I contribute to this country by doing my taxes. I contribute to this country by working. I contribute to this country because I'm a homeowner. I contribute to this country because I paid for my education. And that's another thing. Like growing up, if you didn't have a Social Security, you didn't qualify for federal assistance for school.
So you had to pay for everything.
Yeah, if you wanted to get a higher education, you did. You didn't have that privilege to apply for. I believe it was called FAFSA. You didn't have that privilege, and I didn't know that. I was in middle school, and there were a lot of opportunities that I wanted to try out, but when I would sit there and take the paperwork to my dad, I'd be like, hey, can you fill this out? And he's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's for so-and-so. He said, you can't do it. I'd be like, well, why? Why can't I? He's like, because you don't have a social. I'm like, what? He's like, you don't have a Social Security number. He's like, and they require a Social Security number. So it's like, we were limited to a lot of things growing up, not having Social Security numbers. I mean, I took the driving ed class. I think that's what hurt the most. That I took the driving ed class when I was in high school, and I was ready to go get my driver's permit. I passed the written test. I was ready. My teacher said, "Here, you're ready to go get your driver's permit." And when I showed it to my dad, he's like, "You can't." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "You don't have a Social Security number. You don't have a way to prove that you were born here." I'm like, seriously? So, we were limited to a lot of things that other people that, that were born here had access to. We didn't. Right. And, those are things that will affect you growing up. And another thing that affects you is, when I first applied for DACA, it wasn't a thing. But now there's a permit that you can apply. It's called advanced parole, and that's a permit that will let you go out of the country for humanitarian reasons, such as medical, death in the family, education. Those are the three main things that if you apply for. Of course, I think it was like $5.95 the application, and they would, I think it's like they give you like a month, 3 months, 6 months, up to a year to be able to do multiple entries, to go out of the country and then come back, go out of the country and come back. And that was another thing that, I missed out on, that I could have applied for advanced parole, but I didn't because of my DACA being expired. So, having to sit on your phone and seeing your loved one's funeral because you can't travel outside of the country is, will take a part out of you. Yeah. So, just like I said, there's just a lot of things that people don't realize that, even immigrants that don't have like a DACA, they don't realize what they left behind for their family. Right. They don't realize, having to sit there on your phone and seeing your mom or your dad pass away when you haven't seen them in 20 plus years. And then that's where you have to sit there and decide, like, do I want to stay or do I want to go back? And especially when you have family. And, I lived it with my parents, having to sit there and watch their parents' funeral, and you're like, wow, like, they didn't leave their family to go back, and they just sat here and did nothing. So, when I go to these protests, I'm speaking up for them, because my mom is scared to go to any of it, and my dad passed away, but I know he would have been, proud. I know he would have been proud. We may have not had a great relationship, but I know he would have been proud and would have been like, yeah, you're doing it. And that's why, I came here today to talk about all these different topics, if anybody is watching us, to educate.
There's so much great information.
To educate your friends, your family, to just share the live, share this podcast, share this, because you don't know what each immigrant goes through. Right. And, I support all the immigrant families, and
me too.
And they, I think they're one of the strongest and most hardworking families there are. It doesn't matter if you're from Mexico, Russia, Germany. You left your home country for a better life. Yeah. And there's so many things that you left behind for a better life. So, and now growing up, you realize it. Growing up, I mean, like I said, as a DACA recipient, there's just so many things that, I wish they would do for us. And not only for us, people that have been here 30, 40 plus years that don't have a legal status. They deserve some kind of pathway to citizenship. Yeah. I mean, we're not even asking for a green card. We're not even asking for citizenship. At least, a work permit where they can get their driver's license. Just so they can be, have a little bit of peace of mind. Having to be without any fear. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Now, how can you encourage unity to other races that might be watching?
I just think that, they should support. I'm not saying support criminals, because, there's criminals everywhere.
In all races.
In all races. And I'm not just, I'm not saying, oh yeah, support this, support that. But, if you hear or know of someone that's been here for so many years, and just support them. Just be like, hey, I appreciate you, thank you for your hard work.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of cases where if you file like an immigration case, they do ask for family and friends to write a letter on why that person needs to be here, or why you think that person should be here. If someone comes up to you and asks you to write a letter for immigration, do it, because you don't know how much support you're giving them. So, I mean, I just say, just support everyone. And, if you hear a negative comment, just give them a little bit of education. Just tell them, hey, they're not all bad people.
Right.
They're not here to steal anything. They're just here for a better future, for a better life.
Exactly. Now, do you believe the protesting will eventually start to help?
It will, but like I said, going back, I just, we just need to show more positivity. Less negativity and more positivity. Let's just start showing, positive signs. Let's start waving. We wave our country's flag because we're proud.
Right.
But, we should also wave the United States flag because we want to be here. And we want to show them the reason why we want to be here. And, growing up, that's the only flag that I've pledged to. Yeah, I'm from Mexico, and I may know the Mexico national anthem, but, the United States flag is the ones that I've pledged to my whole life. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys are gonna go out there and protest, use both flags. Wave both flags that you're proud of. And let's just show a lot of positivity and less negativity.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything you would like to leave the people with?
No, I mean, just, let's just be more positive on a lot of things. Let's don't act like they're acting against us. Let's just be very positive on everything, and let's just stay updated on our daily news. Let's focus more on the positive than the negative. That's all I gotta say.
And if you all would like to be part of the community, make sure that you DM Sofia, and she could tell you how to be part of the community. If you are watching this and you're like, oh my God, I'm part of the DACA community, but I've never been in a group. There's certain groups on Facebook that you can join that can help. Oh, and before we leave, I do want to share this. Now, can you explain what is in here?
Yes. So this is like a Bloody Mary mix. It's I'm gonna say the ingredients in Spanish.
Okay.
Okay. So it's viuda de Sanchez, tajin, salt, and lime. And it's more because there's a sour one and this one's a sweet one. So we use this for our beer. Like, you know.
Oh, okay. I like beer.
Yeah. So if you know there's
Corona.
Corona o Modelo. If people, you know, if you think your beer is too sour, just add a little bit of this on there, and it'll be great. And then you can also, if you're not a drinker, you can use it for your fruits. Like I was telling you, like watermelon, pineapple, mango, just kind of like a sauce. That's what it is, kind of like a sweet sauce. Pour it over your fruit, and it's really, really good. Okay.
Now, what's the name of your business?
This is basically the mix name. It's called Sal Sabroso Chelero, and during the summertime we also sell ceviche. Yeah, we make shrimp and fish ceviche. Okay. And everything is homemade. Everything is freshly made. The only we prep it the night before, but you know we don't really actually do the main prep until the day of. So during the summertime, during the summertime, that's our side gig. We sell a lot of ceviche. A lot of people haven't really tried this one. Like I said, this one's the sweet one, but we also have a sour one for like the micheladas, and then we also make one for the shrimp, like the seafood boils, the bags. We make like a sour sauce for it, and we spread it over it. Oh my God, best thing ever. And then we use that also for our ceviche. So we mix everything in, and then we put that little side sauce on the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, you know, I will be shopping. I'm going to need some more of this.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and if y'all got me fruits and vegetables, anybody that's watching this, I am a big fan of fruits and vegetables that I can buy. Just let me know.
And then follow me on Facebook because we also do some wood crafts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we make like bottle openers out of wood. We make
I wish you would have brought it.
I know, I should have, but I think I have a couple pictures on here. Yeah. We make the wood, I don't know if you know the noodle boards. Yeah. That they put over the stove. We make those. I don't know if you could really see it. But
I was going to say, if you send me... Oh, yeah, that's dope. Oh, my gosh.
And then that's like the tequila bottle holders.
Wow. Oh, yeah, y'all did y'all fucking thing on that.
And then these are all the bottle openers.
Oh, that's dope. I need a bottle opener. Can you make one with a couch?
Yeah. Yeah, just send it to me and I can print the little sticker and put it on there. Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
So just follow us on Facebook.
Tell us what the Facebook name is.
So they can see the pictures on my Facebook, but then
if you want to tag it on the bottom, whenever. Okay.
Yeah, because it's called Luke Bella Wood Arts and Crafts. I combine both of my dogs' name, Lucky and Bella.
Oh, so that's my dog's name is Bella.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's called Luke Bella Wood and Crafts. Sometimes, I've only done it once, but once the summer starts coming through, we will be setting up at the Lakeview Market off of Lake Overholser.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we're gonna have our setup
at. Right.
So once, like I said, we'll link our Facebook page on there, and then we also have a Facebook page where we announce the salsa and where we announce the ceviche as well when we sell it during the summertime.
I definitely appreciate you for being on the couch.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And anytime you want to come back, I am down. You let me know. Yeah. Whenever the protests are, I'm there. Yeah. You know, if I'm not at a doctor's appointment, I'm there.
Yeah. No. There is gonna be one a protest in Enid.
Right. I seen that.
In Enid, and I'm kind of wanting to go to it. You know, to kind of like speak a little bit on. Right. On it, but like I said, it's in Enid, and
that's like an hour and 32 minutes.
Yeah,
away.
That's where I'm originally from.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm originally from. That's where my brothers, my sister-in-law, and my nephew are at. So, you know, I do want to kind of go to it, but I'm just so afraid because here, you know, we didn't have a lot of backlash. And with it being a smaller town,
It might be
that's
different.
my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Where, you know, there might be more negativity than there was here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
Right.
but I mean, if anybody is going to the Enid one, you know, like I said, just make sure you show positive signs. Let's try to avoid the negativity, and let's do a lot of, you know, show more positivity, and, you know, just talk about why we need to be here.
Right. Exactly. You guys, it's the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good night. Wow, that was very informative.
It was.
Okay. Spotify, Apple, Pandora, thank you so much for tuning in. It's the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits.